Molweni dumelang sanibonani igama lami ukhanya Mthachulwa estradeni bathi Khanya West ingane zithi Sexuality. We'd like to welcome you to the universe. So this is our 4th episode. So thank you so much for tuning in. You could have been anywhere in the world with whoever, but you chose to be here with us. So for that, Sexuality, danko a million. So for this episode, this is a very special episode for me because I think it was supposed to happen about a year ago or even before that, I'm not sure, but this has been in the making for a while now. So today we have someone I consider one of the smartest people I know. Like I don't recall a time I asked Mox a question or maybe someone else asked a question and he didn't give you an answer to that. Even if maybe sometimes we are shoot up, but the way he's reasoning, like his reasoning and like he's so knowledgeable and I look up to him so much. So he's from Matlera, Klextop, most importantly.
Okay.
And he's a former lecturer. I'm not sure if it's former, but he used to be a lecturer where I go to. He's a healer, traditional healer, a doctor. What does he call himself? Say the educated Sangoma of all medicines, the holistic Rishi, and so much more. I won't even do enough justice to just count everything he is or what he does. So his name is Teboho Mokhachane, aka Dr. Mox, aka Gogo M. So how are you doing, Dr. Mox? How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for the intro. Well, what did the children call you, sweetheart? I think I'm gonna stick to that's quite cute. No, thank you, Kanya. I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you. Never call me Khotman and Kanya did that to hold my neck. Khotmane, Tafeto, Ake Menyer. You see those 2 words? Never like them.
Why don't you like being called Khotman?
Yeah, you guys, that's so cute. There's nothing Khotman about me. But I take the respect put to the word. I hear the word is, it doesn't really, it's not a patriarchal thing. It's a man saying we recognize the level of leadership you occupy.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I'll accept Khotman.
Alright, no problem. Thank you, Khotman Lam. So please tell us briefly about yourself. Who's Teboho? Where do you come from? Just a brief history of who you are.
Hey, what is brief? My brief is not your brief.
Yeah,
but I'm Teboho Luthando. You know, that person name is very important that we mention it.
Yeah.
I'm Teboho Luthando Mokhachane, and I'm from Klakstop. I was born in 1987, believe it or not, on National Women's Day. My mother wanted a girl, but she got a girl in a different way. So I studied in Klakstop, then studied at the University of Pretoria, came to Johannesburg, studied at Maharishi Institute and Maharishi International University, taught there. I've worked in the medical facility, I've worked as an academic, I'm still an academic, but also now I'm a qualified practicing traditional healer. So what I'm doing now is I am combining Western medicine with African indigenous healing, and I am also in the process of actually opening a practice, rather a clinic called Dr. Gogo M, a holistic health clinic that combines my medical knowledge and then my African practice, and then allowing all of them, because I know a lot of healing modalities, so I integrate a lot of that.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
But that's a brief history about me. Fun guy, intelligent. People say I am intelligent. Smart. Yeah, those are some of the words that people say. Talkative, very observant. I'm a nice, chilled guy. I can be strict, but I'm a believer of positivity.
Yeah.
I'm a believer in positivity. I'm a believer of change. I'm a believer of good things. All good things, good. And I love finer things in life. Finer things. finer things. I'm saying this to even whoever is gonna come and say, "Give it a try." I probably trust now. Please prepare Maserati or Bugatti to thank me. I do my work, and also I think I'm a hard worker.
Yeah.
I'm a deep hard worker. But that's, you said brief. That's becoming very long.
No problem. You can go off.
Yeah. No, but I think in brief, that's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm just a nice, chill guy. Chill for everyone.
Yeah.
Open about whoever and whatever I am, and I just love people. I just love humankind, and I love working with people.
Yeah.
I love working with any age, children, old people, everyone. I think we are human. We are born to work, but you should be called to work with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to ask, how I understand that you are no longer a Joburg resident or a Gauteng resident for that matter. So how's it like being at home and doing what you love? Because I think that's you're following your passion right now with everything you're doing.
I am. I will tell you this. I miss Joburg. I miss Joburg for the opportunities and the type of clients I get. Not to say back home the clients you get but the exposure, the intent. Sometimes back home your Xhosa data depletes, your Tswana data depletes. So go mahweng sekgowa se ba more. But being back home, I think it was good for me. I've always been so busy. I left home when I was 18. Always been independent since 18. So when I had to get back home to my mother's house at 33, and actually go back and practice and do whatever, I think the calling helped me to go back and have a better relationship. I had missed out on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But granted, I haven't left Joburg because I'm always in Joburg. I think it doesn't pass 2 months, 2 weeks, I come to Joburg because I've got a lot of clients in Joburg. And also that I'm also planning to set up my practice in Joburg.
Yeah.
Why? Because I would not want to live in Joburg. Joburg is too busy. It's too hectic. But working in Joburg is the land of gold. And I think, but going back home has helped me to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also to see that back home, a lot of things have changed back home, which makes me happy. And also to see that a lot of people are back into to their spiritual knowledge and understanding. Yeah, so that has helped. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your childhood
Yeah.
a bit. So, how many girlfriends did you have?
Oh wow, bruh. Wow, you are a good interviewer, Kanya. I see where you're going with whatever. But I'm gonna let you lead this interview. I've had my first girlfriend. Why are we talking about childhood and then we talk about girlfriends? Girlfriends are part of childhood. Anyway, if that's what you want to go, you're going straight for the jugular. Just a disclaimer, I'm an out gay man, but yes, I did have girlfriends. My first girlfriend was in grade 8. She was a yellow bone. Her name was Mamponi Tladi. Proposed to her with a letter full of bombastics. I remember a girl called Joyce told her that whatever, and I think in that message I mentioned something about her making me excited down there. And it was supposed to, they wanted to take the letter to the teacher to like, hey, this guy But the girl was just swamped by the
Yeah.
English, thank goodness. And then I had another girlfriend in grade 10. Prudence, I was still very confused of my sexuality. And there were other girls that liked me, I didn't like them. They will tell their boyfriend. Because I was famous from school, was debater. And so I was the guy that everybody wanted, but I was still confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, those I think are the two people I would say are the girlfriends. Let's not proceed the girlfriend. I wonder how much do you want to know of girlfriends?
You can stop it at that, it's fine.
But yeah, I kissed the girl and I never liked it. Thank you.
So when did you? I'm not sure if I'm putting it the right way, but when did you realize that you are homosexual?
I think I've always known that I like boys. I just didn't. Okay, growing up, got legs up.
Yeah.
I only knew gay people as people who presented as and in my heart I said I don't want to be. I'm not a girl.
Yeah.
So that caused doubt in my heart. And I think primary I knew that I'm attracted to guys. High school I knew that I was highly attracted to guys, and there were guys that approached me, but I was still scared.
Yeah.
So I literally really recognized that I like guys and I wanted to be with guys when I got to varsity. A lot happens when you are in varsity. So second year at the University of Pretoria, I think that's when I realized that I like guys, and I was lucky to meet someone when I came out and got into a committed relationship for a long time. But yeah, that's when I knew totally that I'm into guys.
Yeah.
And then
Like how did the people around you, like your family, react to that you meeting I'm gay? Like how did they change maybe the way they treated you?
my mother
did you lose any friends?
Yeah.
How was it?
Listen, I was gay and I was born again. So those two
Born again.
those don't go together. But deep Muzelwani. So at church they did find out. I think I love teaching. So I was in I was teaching Sunday school. Some parents came into the Sunday school and said the spirit of homosexuality will transfer into their children. But later to find out that the people who actually made those accusations were living a life, because that life. So, and another friend of mine outed me at church. Still a very good friend of mine, but I think when he was doing his duty of being Muslim, and he's still a friend to me now. My mother did not approve this at all. I think the hardest person I had to deal with was my mother, my uncle, and my grandmother. To my siblings, my little brother did not. To my little brother was the star brother. I've got the little brother that comes after me, Eugene. So, and having a brother that is known like myself, and now having to, but he came around. My mother had a problem with it. My friends adjusted. I think my friends accepted that I was gay before I accepted that I was gay.
Yeah.
So I've had good friends in that regard. Because I remember my friend Shane, who still might be very straight, was the one that he had a girlfriend. The girlfriend was close to me. He told the girlfriend, I'm only allowing you to be friends with Teboho because Teboho is gay. By that time I had not even accepted that I was gay.
Yeah.
So, and Shane has always embraced me as a friend, not as a gay friend.
Yeah.
But he kind of made me, so my friends were good. And I'm glad. Listen, a lot of people experience a lot of things. Others get chased in their families. But for me, maybe it's because I came out already independent. I had my place, I planted something. You must plant this thing. So there was no way that my mother would chase me out. It was the sort of I was bringing money home, so yeah, black
Right
tax
away.
was also helping me. So she didn't like it, but I'm the child that loves, that could bring. There's no bread, call for bread. So, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Other people have different experiences and they have to go through different experiences. But that was my coming out. I've never came out,
Yeah.
but it was just there. I think also the person who made me come out fully was the person I dated then, because I came to the gay world not knowing anything, but through that person I knew a lot of people, and then it easily became accepted. But it was difficult to be accepted in the church, and sometimes I had to lie, to be brother, Teboho, then also chomi. So yeah, but yeah, that was that's how I came out. But now I think I literally just say, right, this is who I am. I don't think sexuality should change who I am as a human being. It's just my preference. And it should also, I don't like, I have a friend, my best friend Isaac always asks, why do we have to come out if that's who we are? Yeah, but I think that's another topic for another day.
Maybe we'll discuss it today even. But
Okay.
let's move on. So I understand your dad is from the Eastern Cape.
Of course. Yes.
That's where I'm from now.
Oh, okay. That's a cow. Yes.
Mtasi. You know the place. So how was it like growing up without him for the most part of your life?
You're asking a very good question. I think also people think when you are gay you don't need a father figure. I needed my dad. I really needed my dad. But nonetheless, I had a good stepfather. I had a good stepfather who really, but he was still my stepfather. He was not my father. So in my heart it will always come that he is not my father. When I met my dad, I met my biological dad in 2014 when things were really going very rough for me. I took a bus to Khayelitsha Site B for 2 days to Cape Town, and we met him and he took me to Eastern Cape and Mocha to meet Odapsi Bami. It was emotional, but it was also, other people will say it was excited. When I met my father, there were a lot of things that I would have wanted him to say. He really never said. Maybe it's because African men have been structured not to express that. But I was okay that I've met my father. And I've known where he comes from, and I got introduced to the ancestors and to the people. But it was hard not knowing who he was. And also I think another problem is the only one thing, a hold I had against him then was he never looked for me, I looked for him. But when I got home to his wife was, God bless her, he's late now, passed on a year after we met. Literally a year after I met my dad, he passed on. We never had a relationship, so I can't say I will mourn him, he filled the void of not having a father. My stepdad played that role very well. Just things didn't go well between my stepdad and my mom, but he played a very vital role in my life as a father. So my father came to me, I had already gotten a father, but it would have been nicer if I had my dad dead. But it was hard. It was hard. It's not easy to grow without a biological father. But when I met him also, there were a lot of things that I saw to him that I did not like. And I felt maybe it was good that I was never part of his life.
So just a follow-up question to that. Like, I'm not sure if Nzoibega this question in English, so I'll just freestyle. So how
you are code switching?
So how do you think maybe I'm just asking you on a general perspective. Do you think maybe if you had a male figure around the time you were still growing up, do you think maybe you wouldn't have been been like find out okay, I'm gay now because we had a male figure who's bonisa life which indoor must do this, like traditional way which a man is supposed to teach you from childhood, like as your father, like that natural and everything.
I get you. No. That's sexual orientation should be taken away from nurture and nurturing.
Yeah.
I think it's Bessie Haight who says hereditary, nothing, environment, everything.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge believer of that. Even if I could have had my father, my sexuality would have still been.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think we become gay because we lack fathers or we lack mothers or it's a cry out or we've been molested or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Sexuality is oriented, it's innate. I think Kinsey puts it very well to teach us that sexual orientation differs.
Yeah.
And at times you might find that there are people that you love and you fall in love with. And you didn't even know that you would fall in love with because it is not societal, it is not expected. Yeah. So it's not expected for two guys to like each other, to be affectionate with each other. It is not expected, but it happens. I don't think that would have happened. I don't think had he been in my life, it would have changed anything. I would still have been as moxilicious as I could be. Yeah, it's just that I didn't want to have weaves and everything else. Yeah, I just want. I mean, I still in me. I still feel there's some dude who comes and just dominate the dudeness. Yeah. So and it helps me because it helps me to connect with females and also helps me to connect with males. Yeah. And also to differentiate between the two. Wow. So I don't think not having a father, the lack of really would have mimicked or perpetuated me not to be gay in any manner. I will still be, but maybe it will have helped me to be more stronger. I'm a very sensitive guy, too sensitive sometimes, too emotional, and maybe it's a good thing, but maybe that will have helped me. Some little bit of patriarchy. You know, there's a guy called you don't cry. Yeah. When I cry, you know.
Carlos born. So let's talk about what you just mentioned now, like Kinsey's
sexuality scale. Yes.
Like let's talk like please educate us because Tina in this room I think you've taught us about that. Yeah. So maybe for someone who doesn't know, please just.
So Kinsley was a psychology professor at Harvard. Yeah. And I think it was in 1942, 1943, where he wanted to distinguish between sexuality, gender identity, and sexual orientation. Because remember, these three things are very different. So Kinsley came with a scale. I think it's 0 to 6 scale that says some people can be predominantly heterosexual, but some people could be predominantly homosexual. And some people could actually have both. So he puts, that's why you will find that certain people transition because sexuality is fluid most. So because it's fluid, Kinsey was trying to make that, to say sexual orientation differs. It's who you are attracted to and who you are sexually attracted to. So there are people who could be indulging in sexual activities with people of the same sex but not being romantically involved. You know, we all have secret desires. He was trying to explain that. Yeah.
I'm not sure if maybe you can remember these scales at the top of your head.
Of course.
Like please take us through just briefly.
Right. So the scale is divided into 0 to 6. Okay. Yeah. So it determines the level of scale of sexuality. So from 0 we say you are 100%. If you are on scale 0, you are 100% heterosexual. Yeah. If you are 1, you are 80 heterosexual, 20 homo. If you are 2, you are 75 heterosexual, 25 homo. It means that you can do things. So one who are on 1 is like, hey, that's a good dude. But it's a dude. Then you go to 2, that one looks deeper and can actually even go and engage, but never say anything. It's a secret. So you playing FIFA there, and FIFA leads into other FIFAs. So, and then there's one that is 50-50, that is scale 3, that is bisexuality. So you are attracted to both males and females. For a very long time, I thought I was there, but it was not true. I got to a point where I realized fish is not for me. I don't eat it. I don't like it. So I descaled myself. Then from scale 4 to 6 is the homosexuality part. So 4, it means you are homosexual, you are 80% homosexual, 20. So you are still attracted to guys, but there are also females. People like Teboho, they have had a girl and probably tasted, and then it didn't feel good, got in, didn't stand. We've got stories there. Then there's 5, you are strongly homosexual. Then there are 6, you are 100% homosexual. So anything, it doesn't get to you. Then there is X, which are people who are asexual, who have no sexual desire whatsoever.
I fail to understand that.
Asexuality.
Like how don't you like they don't feel anything romantic?
Remember that sexual orientation is divided into monosexuals, polysexuals, and asexuals. So many sexual, mono meaning you are attracted to one same gender. Like you are attracted, if male is males, you'll be lesbian, gay, whatever. Then there's polysexuals who will be pansexuals. Pansexuals will be people like Yonkin Simple Yawash, everything goes. So today you're attracted to a guy, tomorrow you're attracted to a trans woman, tomorrow you're attracted to a trans man. Everything, you are just attracted to human beings. I don't know how that works. That would have been interesting too. And there's a term, these days we've got so many terms, gender queer, a lot of people who are non-binary, conforming. So there are a lot of terms that are coming to address sexuality. But asexuality means that you have no psychological understanding of registry. Remember that also sex must happen here. So you within your neurons, there is nothing that is increasing your not serotonin. Serotonin will make you sleep, but nothing is increasing, is not activating in your insula to happen so that you are sexually active. Your emotions are excited to a point to which you would want to engage. You are not aroused. You are not aroused by another. It happens. Other people, it happens because there was trauma. Other people, it happens because there was it's just something that they grew up with. So, but asexuality is there. Is there, and asexuality is not celibacy. There are people who choose to refrain from engaging in sexual activities. I think my calling has taught me that you could actually be celibate. Not a very nice thing, because the salt will also give you pimples. So no, it's cause. I think right now what they should be doing is put my picture in that Cerebos thingy, because it's bad. That's another cry for when you get into the calling. So please when you go there, know that Shem, and you will always be. The another thing is you will always be sexually activated, but you need to. You are teaching yourself, but asexuality is there. We are still on the sexuality.
It makes sense, but at the same time it doesn't.
Yes.
Maybe I'll have to do research and educate myself.
Of course. I think we all think innately that we are all sexual beings, but not to be. There are parts where you get to a point where you just say, I want nothing to do with sex. And asexuality does not mean that you can't love a person. You're just not affectionately involved with them. You can say, okay, cool, there is Tevin, I'm okay with him, but we're not indulging. Sex just, your body shuts off. Remember also, sex is a psychological thing, it's an energy thing. sex is very deep. People just have sex. I can never just have sex. And I'm sure I'm very good at it. I've gotten good reports. They still want to come back. No, I can even show you. I can show you the receipts. Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not alone. I'm having sex with me. It's a million of me carrying a lot of, and I'm a gogo, so I carry a lot of women. So they clearly tell me what to do. I'm a man who's very, very dominant. Yeah. So I think that helps.
All right. Let's talk about your community.
Yes.
The
LGBTIQ plus. Please, there is a plus.
Why so many categories within the same community?
LGBTIQ plus. There's an I also.
Oh.
Now, remember the sexuality spectrum is broadening, and people are finding themselves. We're living in a world where today I can come wearing a dress and say I'm expressing myself. You know, you look at stars like people like Lil Nas, the rapper, who are saying a message but decoding a message. Today I can come wearing a dress but wearing a suit, like Mr. Porter did at the Emmys. So we are finding different ways to express ourselves. And remember that culture, I always say life is nurtured by concepts and ideas. And these concepts and ideas have changed how we are. They have changed how we respond. They have changed how we express ourselves. But now we've come to a point where we are expressing ourselves, and it's different. Kaloku. There's a trans woman, for one, will not want to be identified as a gay or a lesbian because she feels it's a trans. Even now, the pronouns have to change. That's why it's important these days sometimes to ask people how should I refer you, address you. So a lot of people, I think now they're even at the point of where they just go they, because you just want to be safe. You're not sure whether today I woke up, maybe I woke up being Maschab, or I woke up being Teboho, or I woke up being Mokhachane. You know, maybe I transition from that. Medically, we could look at it and like, yo, this is not right. Multi-personality disorder and don't. But there's a lot happening with sexuality. So also, I think it's also all of us trying to get to an understanding of what is to say. Sexuality is very fluid, and sexual orientation is even more fluid than any other thing. So let's have a term people like being part of.
In addition to that, like I have a question. Like why do you powers?
No, don't light me.
So my question is how, or maybe why is the LGBT, your community,
the spectrum code.
Like your spectrum
LGBTIQI.
LBGT.
And there's A also at the end, yes. But it keeps on broadening.
Let's give it that. Was my
so long as you can stick to LGBTIQ plus, you are okay.
That's like, why do you think like from my perspective, I feel like you guys are most of the time, not all the time, obviously, people are different, but on a general perspective, I feel like instead of educating people about homosexuality and the different classifications under sexuality, like I feel like most of the time, if someone says something maybe ignorant, they'll be cancelled, they'll be called names, they'll be called all sort of names. Instead of which he educate me.
Okay.
How should I address, like going back to what you're talking about? How should I address you? How do you feel about this? What do you think about this? What's homosexuality, like everything? So I feel like you guys are not educating us enough, and maybe not maybe, but it's a fact to which some of us are just ignorant. They don't want to learn, and some are very what's the word?
Homophobic.
Homophobic.
Yeah.
So, but then I feel like sometimes when people call you names or maybe attack you or say something about gay people, I feel like maybe instead of just saying let's cancel this person, let's zonda and everything, I feel like in some instances really you guys should take that opportunity to educate and say, okay, this is who we are, this is how we do things. So what do you think the gap is, if maybe we want to like why is that? But then I can also add to the question I feel like it's the same thing with us as black people. Like as soon as maybe a white person says something offish, it's racist, and we are ready to cancel them, call them names and everything. But it's sensitivity in a way. So how do you think maybe we can bridge the gap? Okay, yes, you said this about homosexual people, but please put it like this, please talk like this. Like, how do you think you can do that?
So you are talking about desensitizing,
yeah,
or based on any anomaly that could be seen as of judgment, or where one could be prejudiced against. There's a lot to teach, and if I was one of those maybe pompous person who would say that's a lot of information, but you see, you can have information. Not common sense is not always common.
Yeah.
And you can have the information, but you cannot be able to transfer and teach that information. Number one, you can read about it, but also another thing is experience changes the brain.
Yeah.
So, but also experience, talking about experience changing the brain, you have your own social setting as Kaya. I've got my own social setting. Your social setting is centered around probably values, ideals, and concepts that you were told to you. Now you meet me, you come to the city, and now you have to devalue or change or extrapolate more on, like, dissect whatever you've learned. So it's not just a matter of teaching a person, because I don't also remember that even as homosexuals, we are different.
Yeah.
So others will be reacting because of their experiences. They grew up in a very homophobic place, and so everything, a response to them is being reactive.
Yeah.
And being reactive sometimes is not a response. And also other people, in how you say it, also we don't perceive things the same as people. So because we don't perceive things the same as people, what you say could hurt the other person, because words have more power than any, because words are things. So others, if somebody says to you, stubborn, others will take it badly, but others, we are not the same, and we are not all strong, and the environment is not the same for all of us. So how you choose, other people have been, they are always on the race to fight. And let's truly say that homophobia is there, and it's greatly done in names of patriarchy, religion. So wherever you go as a gay person, you will always be persecuted. You are not in a safe space. So because you are not in a safe space, the only thing is to put your guns up, because you want your family to accept you, you want the church to accept you, you want your workplace to accept you. And now there are other labels that are coming. So whilst you are still understanding that I am gay, then tomorrow I'm like, you know what, it was too deeper. I think Mox, let's end it today. I want to be Moxilicious. Now I transition from where I am. You now also have to understand that. So it's also, we as homosexuals need to teach people, and also wait on society to come to where we are. But we need to, and also not have it's them against us. You know, we are all people. And if we could all see it as that way and live well, because also there are certain things that really, other people are homophobic because there are certain things that have been done to them by homosexuals, that will, whenever they see one person, they're like, as you know?
Yeah.
So it's like that. But there's a lot of teaching. But the blame should not be put on homo. So you guys didn't do this, we didn't do this.
Yeah.
It should be a collective thing, because then collectively we'll be able to dissect what is the understanding, the introduction, the processes, what happens, and also people stop asking gay people that who's the man, who's the woman, because not everything is based on who's the man and who's the woman. How do you determine if it's a man or it's a woman? It's like you are more sexually interested in what we do. What if when we don't be interested, rather ask us if, is there affection? Do you guys plan things? Is there love? Do you want to have kids? Do you want a family? What are your interests? You know, more than, it's usually when people ask gay people, it's always a sexual thing. The roles. Who's the man, who's the woman? Yeah, well.
When I'm in your relationship, are you the man or are you
Hey, I just told you should not ask that question. I'm a trisexual in my relationship.
What's a trisexual?
It means everything that goes I try. So anything that comes where, if it's for the short, Kanye, you should not ask that question. But for now, I will remain a trisexual. Anything that comes, I try. Yeah. So long as it works for me.
Alright, fair enough. So let's talk about spirituality.
Yes.
So first of all, why do you call yourself Gogo M? Because I think for most people it's for people who don't know or don't understand, like it can be a bit confusing to have.
It's a man calling himself.
Gogo.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Like please.
Right. So in spirituality we have gogos and kulus.
Yeah.
So all of us, we say that we are called by amatongo namadlozi. Those are two different people, number one.
Yeah.
So amatongo are people from our family lineage that have called us, have lived in the physical, and after they've lived in the physical, they pass on. So they've got physical experiences.
Yeah.
Amadlozi are people who've long been part of the lineage, but being part of the lineage means that they have they've stayed for long. So they are our people that take genograms. They are part of our the starting point of where we started. So Amatongo come to change or heal what the ancestors couldn't change, because remember, this is a baton, it gets changed from one person to the other. But the reason why I am a Gogo is because I am called by a lineage of female healers. That does not mean I'm not Mkulu, because I've got Mkulu. And okay, also when you get called, there's a matriarchy spirit, or there's a Indrovugas. Yeah. So if you look into the Zulu nation mostly, the Queen Mother is the most greatest person than any other person, and it will make sense. And if you are spiritual and you start seeing things, you will actually see that even nature around us becomes spirits. And one of the things that we see is the spirit of Indlovu happening a lot. You see trees looking like elephants, or whatever looking like elephants are there. So Kuba Indlovu, guys, it's a big thing. You give birth to Indlovu. But you are the biggest Indlovu.
Yeah. Because
you've given. So now I'm Gogo because the woman that leads me among the pack of ancestors that I have, it's a woman. So you need to acknowledge the chief ancestor. So she is the chief ancestor, but she comes with her husband. So I'm also a Mkulu and a Gogo, but you always have to, because also with ancestors, it's important that you give respect to the highest authority. And ancestors understand authority, they understand hierarchy, and they understand lineage. Yeah. So in that sense, I am then called by this woman with a lot of women that come with it. But I'm also having two Mkulus among a lot of women that come to me and talk. So that's why I'm a Gogo, because I've got a lot of female spirits. Yeah. And even in my physical life, I attract a lot of female spirits. Yeah. A lot of female people. A lot of people around me are females. Yeah.
It makes sense when
Yeah.
like for the longest of time, like I was confused with
Yeah. So a man can be a gogo depending on who's guiding you on the other side.
Yeah.
And one lo mthwasela umdlela likobongo.
Yeah.
So others can be mkulu. It's not that because you are a man you are necessarily supposed to be a mkulu, and if you are a mkulu you are supposed to be a gogo. Sometimes it happens differently. Yeah, it also takes us back to that thing of sexuality and everything else, because energy knows energy, so distance can also influence you.
All right, let's talk about your business. I'm not sure if I should call it a business.
Yes, my clinic.
Yeah, your clinic,
yes.
Like Gogo M Holistic Clinic.
Yes.
What exactly do you do?
Okay, so what Dr. Gogo M Holistic Health Clinic, what we do dream interpretation, we do spiritual siyatwasisa. You pay. Yeah, you must pay. Yeah, not a lot of money, but yes, we also do a lot of. So we integrate healing. I was maybe I've been fortunate enough that I've been exposed to a lot of holistic healers. Who use Ayurvedic medicine. So I know a lot of Ayurvedic medicine, homeopathic medicine, traditional medicine, then Western medicine. So I try to integrate all that to heal a person. So that's what we also do. We do online consultations. So we are still building. We don't have a location as yet. So I'm still working from home. It's a house call. So you have a medical doctor who also comes and also be a traditionalist. So we deal with the spiritual things, and because also remember that spiritual things manifest as medical problems. And medical problems, some of them can be healed when you match them into fixing the spirit, because it's energy. And energy happens, you can transform it, you can transfer it, but you can't create it. So it was already there. So if it is not addressed, it will then become, because remember we even say that spiritual calling, it's a sickness, it's caused about ingulo. And you actually get sick. I think the late Credo called it myeloencephalitis. And myeloencephalitis means that it is in the brain and it affects all parts of the body. So the body will ache because we are also of energy. So at my holistic clinic is actually to show that we can heal using different things, and healing comes from the tree. Yeah, that's what we do, got Dr. Gogo M. So we do a lot of, we integrate both. I
think that's a great thing. Like for it's leading to the next question of Buzayon. Like I think it's important, like to infuse the two. Like
of course
interdependent.
Yes.
Like sometimes and to
yes.
A bit of both. Most of the time it works be from just one perspective. So yeah,
they agree with whatever you say.
So yeah, as I was saying, like I'm not sure if I really understand what a sanusi is.
Yeah. Okay. So there are levels of or in spirits has different let's say levels, categories. There are water spirits, there are blood spirits, there are church spirits, there are mountain spirits. So spirit expresses itself using the four elements: water, air, and all this. We know the four elements. So these four elements expresses themselves differently, and you understanding all four elements and integrating it back to the self will then help you. But the level of spirit has 7 manifestations, right? So these 7 manifestations, it's clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairsalient. So it's different clairs. You experience spirit in different. So those are the 7 manifestations of spirit, the 7 stars of spirit. So when you get to the 8th spirit, I think the Sanskrit people will call it Brahm consciousness, or the lightest of Dharma. The Brahm consciousness is the highest level, and that highest level will help you to connect and get into Sanusi spirit. But Sanusi means that you've got a greatest understanding of the minutest level of spirit to the highest level of. So you've manifested the 7 manifestations of spirit, and they have grown into you. So you can hear, feel, sense, hear, All your senses are integrated, your eye is opened, so you are even able to get messages of what will happen today, tomorrow, and you can then extrapolate that message to other people. Yeah, depending on how you've grown. So Sanusis, for every nation there is a Sanusi, but we are getting to a nation where now the rise of ancestors are bringing more Sanusi spirit than. But I followed Ndate Credo since I was a child. And it was not even a matter of a spiritual thing. I just figured he speaks sense. And most of the things that he said. And also remember that it's just not a black thing. I think we've got the Greek people had their own gods, where they when you get to university, most universities, the first thing they will do is philosophy. And one of the in philosophy you will learn about Socrates, Plato, and everything. And these people will teach you about teachings of Nostradamus. And Nostradamus was a predictor, was a Sanusi. And we still talk about that, and you are graded on that and all that. So Credo stood for that. It's just that we didn't respect. We still don't respect the calling of. We don't nurture the calling of African spirituality, indigenous healing, which is there. It is there. Look at what they did to Dr. Sebi. So that happens, and so Credo taught us a lot. He was just celebrated too late. That Credo taught us a lot. He was just celebrated too late. And I think we still haven't done injustice to him and the places that he stood for.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying, which will lead me to the next question. Like, what do you think the role of, not maybe the role of, like, how do you differentiate spirituality and religion? And do you think maybe religion in its form has sort of tainted in a way the message, the whole thing about the spirituality? And it was like, maybe I'll make an example in the Bible, the latest version. Like it's been edited over and over again, so it's no longer the pure truth,
as authentic as it was.
So like what does what are maybe the shortfalls or shortcomings between spirituality and religion?
Right. But also let's also say spirituality is an experience. Alright. And it is experience of what? Of the self expressed into the physical. So spirituality is different. Now spiritualists and religious people, they made it different. It was the same thing, because all of us are looking for edification. We are looking for everything to be cleared between all of us. So because we are looking for it to be edified, it's the edification. So the edification has been dogmatized. And because it has been dogmatized, you now find that religion is this specific way, and it has taken. But when you look into the two integrate. If you look at it, not in a way, no, this is Christian, this is Maguzio, this is spirit. The two are very the same, and we are all doing the very same thing. And I know people will argue that it's not the same, but it is the same, because you are all speaking for education of spirit. You want the person inside to vibe with the person outside.
Do you still go to church?
Yes, I still go to church, but I would love to go to a charismatic church.
What's that?
Charismatic church is a line, so I can't go because well, I can still go, but you cannot go there for I mean, they're gonna get there and they're like, hey, demon, get out by the door. So I cannot go, but I love charismatic churches. I lived in a charismatic church and I got enlivened, so I can't go there. But yes, I still go to church. Yes, I have to go to church. I grew up a church boy. I was and my life in church did not just start. I started going Anglican. So I go Anglican. I was an altar server. I was the secretary of the diocese. I was chairperson for the longest time in the church. So I've always been a church boy. So I didn't start in church.
secretary of the diocese. Diocese.
No. So in the Anglican Church, the Anglican Church is almost like the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Just that the teachings or the doctrines are a bit different because you are allowed and we don't have the papal clamorance like the Catholics. The Catholic have the papal Papa as their biggest. We have the archbishops and the emeritus archbishops as our people, but and the Anglican Church is the royal church.
Yeah.
So we practice more of the British royal principles: get married, stay in marriage, don't divorce, and so diocese it's sort of it's a conglomerate. So you've got a parish and then you've got archdioceses, and then biggest of all of those will become a diocese. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think is it possible to believe emadlozini and then at the same time believe in Christianity?
You see, I have a problem with the word believe.
What's the right way to use?
I have a problem with believe because if you say you believe, you then say that you're questioning the existence of and qualifying the existence of when you say you believe.
Yeah.
Rather to say that I am an actualist of, then that will be better to say because of Christianity I've actualized. Well, because remember also the last I think it's scale this what is the scale of yours?
Which one?
Hierarchy of needs.
Oh, yeah,
the
Maslow.
last hierarchy of Maslow, hierarchy of needs. The last scale speaks about self-actualization, self-contentment, and you cannot be self-actualized if you haven't seeked the process to get to where you are. And Spirit allows it. Christianity allows you to do that, and so you are in a process of self-actualizing, not believing. Self-actualizing, and you need teachings that are going to help you shape those values into self-actualizing.
Yeah. I'm a bit confused, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are still in talking about spirituality.
Yes. Yes.
So now I want to ask you about something. I'm not sure if it's that spiritual, but I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for using belief.
Yes. you believe it's okay.
Do you think, as a person who practices meditation
Yes.
and knows about the whole thing,
Yes.
so do you think there's or maybe what's the difference between chakras and sutras?
Okay. So so chakras. So I think you were asking this from the point that we are both transcendental meditation practices.
Yeah.
And we've also done the advanced program of CDs, which remember that meditation has 3 levels into it: contemplation, concentration, and then there's transcendental meditation, which is more of using a mantra, a sound into. So chakras are energy points, and we've got 7 of them. But chakras are connected into colors. And when we look into colors, we can heal using colors, because remember, science teaches us about Roy-Gebev, dispersion of white light, and physics or spectrum of light then tells us about the wavelengths and how each color resonates. So each chakras is more into healing points using that. Sutras are words. Sutras are words. They are mimicking words that are able to speak to a particular chakra. So you need sutras to speak to a particular chakra, to open that chakra. So the two integrate each other. So it's like a child getting promoted from grade R to grade 1. Yeah. So it's sort of it helps you. You cannot get to grade 4 without knowing numeracy that 1 times 1 is 2. I think you progress to a point where you get to more than that, because we just got taught 1 times 12 from a particular grade. Then you integrate when you get to higher levels. So senior phase like that. And experience a calling differently means that you would manifest spirit. So there are people who can see things. There are people who can hear things. There are people who can touch things and become tactile in that, and then those things get explained.
Yeah.
There are people who can actually have conversations in spirit. So that is a manifestation of spirit, because remember that you are called by different people, and others are not calling you to necessarily be a healer, because others are calling you so that you can heal them first, because they are in you.
Yeah.
Because that's why I said namatongo namatos, because now those people live in you, so you die to self. That's why they talk about intwaso, because that is the self. Babato guvuma ugufa. It's the death of self. So I'm saying Teboho is dying, then Masichaba is rising, then Nkulu Nkratiamanzi is rising. Then I need to meet these people and know who they are. And sometimes that okuvuma okufa, that process of saying I'm now dying to self and rising to the big self, translate into you becoming this being that even when people address you, they see this person that is carrying you beyond anything else.
Yeah.
And that person then helps you to become, because all of us have spirits. All of us have matriarch spirits. You can call them angels, guardian angels, whatever, but we have them. But there are those ones that are actually saying we need to come back so that we can fix certain things in our lineage, and we need you to fix them.
Yeah.
So those manifestations of, so the 7 spirits of manifestation, because spirit, the number 7, remember spirit is 4 things. Spirit is shapes, spirit is color, spirit is alphabet, and spirit is numbers. All those things have so much meaning, and when you integrate all those things, they then help us to manifest everything else. So sometimes you will just wake up and wear whatever, and you think you're just wearing, but you are not wearing. You're actually connecting into a particular energy point.
Yeah. Okay. I think I still need to do more research on that, because I saw the post, like you were just summarizing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I still need to, because these days rely on internet for most information.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I still need to do a bit of
The research.
Research and find out exactly how these things work, what they are, and everything. So my which brings me to my next question. Let's talk about the Kundalini spirit. What exactly is Kundalini?
Okay.
And how does it get activated?
All right. So all of us, remember we spoke about, all of us are made of water.
Yeah.
All right. And water makes about 70% of our body. Now, the function of water is to transport, build, metabolize, break, and do everything else. Now, Kundalini spirit, others will call it the spirit of the snake. But it's not really the spirit of the snake, it's how the water energy or water element has been manifested in our bodies, and as such how it is used to heal us. So when Kundalini expresses you, people, if you look at the shape of your vertebral column, it almost looks like a snake. But inside the spinal cord there is a fluid that we call a cerebrospinal fluid, CBF, cerebrospinal fluid. And this cerebrospinal fluid goes into the brain, and the brain has what we call ventricles, where this fluid has to run. And this fluid is water, but it is the most important fluid in the body because it influences how you are healed. And if you look into how the Greek used it, they used it to heal people, and they used what we call bodily fluids, such as phlegm and other bodies, to heal a person. So this water content Kundalini became the greatest healing point in how we heal persons. So that's why also you see that spiritual people go to the water, they need to visit the water and whatever, because others are called into the, but also spiritually that also means that you've got the spirit, the water spirit called Umundao or Inzunza, or it could also be another spirit called Abalosi Bamanzi, or so also we as Africans have clan names.
Yeah. And
our clan names tells us of what our ancestors did or where they got. For one, my Xhosa clan is Ugaba Msuthu Mtuomlambo, meaning that if I need certain things to be manifested, I need to go into the river. And I used to be very scared of the river.
Yeah.
So all these clan names also tells us of what they did. The Sotho ones my mother came from Wahatsile, meaning that she is the rabbit spirit, but the rabbit people, but Barake Watsile, where did they pass? They didn't cross over. They crossed over at the river. They were the first people to cross over at the river before they went. So the land names also speak to us. So spirituality is a lot. It's culture, it's tradition, then it's the manifestation of the two. Yeah.
No, that's quite a lot to take
to process. But usually people will say Kundalini spirit of the snake. No, it's not. It is the core spirit of breaking your energy point, of enlivening you as a person. Yes, and when that point has been enlivened and that core has been enlivened, you are able to see other things and things start moving. It's sort of a blockage. So the other people, the Chinese will call it a meridian point. So it's the core meridian point.
Follow-up question again. Do you believe in soul ties?
Do I believe in soul ties?
Sorry for using belief again.
Yes. Do I believe in soul? No, that belief is appropriate here. Do I believe in soul ties? Yes. Everything that we do is energy, isn't it not? And therefore, because we can transfer energy from one point to the other, it becomes easy. And a soul is that part of you that never dies, isn't it? So because the soul is that part of you that never dies, it can be tied, sexually or otherwise. You will have sex. Let's use sex. Yes, there are apologies to asexual people, but you can have sex with 10 people, but that will be different experiences of sex. You can have sex with one person, but your experience of your sexual activity will not be the same with that one person. Today it will be boom, 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 bam. Then tomorrow is boom, 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 and it happens. And you also think of that. That is tying the soul, because we're saying the soul is that part of you that never dies. If you think of that person and you think of that moment and you think of whatever happens, you don't forget it, Kai. You can meet everyone else like you, that one. Hi. Because there is a point of reference. So that is a soul tie. For immediately that you've got a frame of reference to this one is better than, then that is a soul tie. So I believe in soul ties. I do. That's why I believe you must also cleanse. Put some telezi, put some water, put some siwashu. Just cleanse yourself, because you don't know what you're dealing with. And also, we're dealing with people who come from different cultures and beliefs. Certain people, there are certain things that are done in their homes, they are not supposed to be told. They do it in their homestead, and they will obviously be told, for you to enliven this, you need 1, 2, 3. And sex is the biggest part of it all.
Still on that topic. Do you believe Uguti, like abstinence, like abstaining, Uguti, when you maybe about to do a project or something, about to launch something?
Ukuzila.
Ukuzila in a way. Do you think it's effective, and it has anything to do with your soul or spirit, which you get stronger if you don't engage in sexual activities before or just after something happened?
You know what? That differs. That differs. There are people that get strongly powerful after engaging in sexual activities. Strongly powerful. Strongly powerful. They just engage and do things just like they have the energy to attract, because you are just taking, because remember, this is the magnetic thing. So your magnetic field gets open and expanded, so you just call on other electrodes to come and have a dance there. But other people, you are not even allowed to engage. And or uzile, because ukuzila also, we make it so sexual. Ukuzila is only sex. To switch off the TV and not watch. We live in a world that is so techno-driven. So also for you to desensitize yourself from all the social media and even switch off all your appliances and then go, that also helps. So it helps, yes, but it is not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
Yes, there are certain people that are necessarily supposed to they must bazile. Especially if you are very, very deeply into spiritual things also, because to touch something, to do, also even if you are going to do a project, you have to go to uzila. Uzila that is not only sexual. It means you are depriving yourself of pleasures that you will necessarily have at your own will.
Okay. Still on that, let's talk about masturbation.
The interview just
like medically, they say it's good for prostate, things like that.
Yeah.
And then on a spiritual aspect, like I've heard when you masturbate, it's like
you're feeding the gods.
Yeah, you're feeding the gods. And Kona something, I won't mention names, but Kona something I usually last time learn about Ezemvel and what you did there, but we won't get into that. So how, like, is masturbation a healthy thing to do? Is it the right thing to do as a medical doctor and as a spiritual being when we work? So how?
You see, that puts me in a very awkward position. In respect to the fact that with one needs, you need, there are certain body parts, anatomical part that needs to be stimulated. They have to be happy. I mean, after release coming and endorphins are released, it's a beautiful thing for the body. The body heals, you are out of pain, you forget about your problems. Is masturbation good? Medically speaking, masturbation is fabulous.
Yeah.
We're not saying do it now. We're not saying it's good. It's good. It means that you are engaging with it. You